Deadpool is the ultimate cool anti-hero. He is goofy, a little neurotic, uses a lot of ill-timed humor, and is a weapon through and through. Wade Wilson is a Canadian with great power and no responsibility. Throughout his adventures as Deadpool, he has been a father of many a spider-human hybrid. Yes, a robot. Yes, a symbiote. Yes. Let's find out in this video if Deadpool ended up being a responsible father to all of his children or not. Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us it means a lot. Thank you, and let's begin. Ellie Camacho. Ellie Camacho is the daughter of Carmelita Camacho and Deadpool. They met during Heroes for Hire, and when they spent a night together, Carmelita got pregnant. Wade, however, was left in the dark about this pregnancy, which led him to abandoning the mother and daughter without realizing it. Carmelita and Ellie were kidnapped by Butler to use them against Deadpool. Butler sent the mother-daughter duo to North Korea, and later when Deadpool learned about Ellie, he went to Camp 23 only to find Carmelita's corpse. Deadpool's friend and a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent, Emily Preston, is able to have visions. One of those visions showed her that the butler had given Ellie to Joshua, his brother who was raising her in Illinois. When Joshua found out Preston was speaking with Ellie, he decided to run away with her only to be chased by ultimatum agents. Finally, Deadpool, who had disguised himself as an ultimatum agent, showed himself and took Ellie away. With the help of Quentin Quire, Deadpool fakes Ellie's death, which allows the father and daughter to have a peaceful life. Ellie's relationship with Preston developed as well, which is why when Deadpool became a Hydra operative and killed Emily, Ellie left his father. Later, their relationship was fixed when Warda Wilson, another Deadpool offspring we'll talk about, kidnapped Deadpool to figure out where her mother had gone. While trying to protect her father, Ellie died at the hands of her half-sister. That was when we got to see her superpower in action. Ellie is a mutant with X gene. While she may not have the healing factors that her father has, she is able to resurrect from the dead. Whenever she resurrects, she is transported to her teenage self. This, in theory, makes Ellie stronger than Wade ever was. Itsy Bitsy. Turns out Spidey and Wade had fathered more than one child. Patient Zero, who was formerly known as Weasel, decided to make a villain that would have to be killed in order to be stopped. Spider-Man had always tried not to kill people, and in Weasel's eyes, this would be the best way to break Spider-Man. So, he used the procedure of genetic splicing, and by putting together Wade's DNA and Peter's DNA, he made Itsy Bitsy. Itsy Bitsy was a willing volunteer to this whole thing, and once she turned into Itsy Bitsy, she decided to take the name Susan Mary. Susan Mary first showed her face to the fathers when they were fighting the hateful Hexad. She ends up killing the members of Hexad while singing the nursery rhyme Itsy Bitsy Spider, which leads to Peter calling her that. She is a blue-skinned spider-human hybrid with several arms and several eyes. Her powers are a mix of both Peter and Wade, but more enhanced. She can wield swords, and she has Peter's spidey sense along with advantages of man-spider. Her webs can be hardened and used as an attack, which is something Peter cannot do. On top of that, she can spit acid, which definitely demerits a point from the sexy scale in Wade's eyes. She really wants to team up with Spidey and Deadpool, but her psychotic nature clearly proves the dysfunctionality of this pairing. Hence, there is no option but to kill her in order to protect the civilians. But here is the issue. Spider-Man did not want to kill, and he had almost talked Wade out of killing people too, which made murdering Itsy Bitsy much more challenging than it needed to be. Hence, Wade decided to break his kill-free streak and murder Itsy Bitsy himself, choosing to be the one to save Peter's soul. Warda Wilson. Warda Wilson is one of the most anticipated characters when it comes to the Deadpool universe. Warda is the daughter of Shiklah, the queen of the underworld and Deadpool. In the Earth 616 universe, we know that Shiklah and Deadpool's marriage did not stand the test of time and ended up going their separate ways. But on Earth 16356, they had a daughter. This daughter is Warda. Taking the moniker of Deadpool 2099, Warda is a more ruthless assassin than her father ever was. As we know, Deadpool has always wanted to be a part of the X-Men. He has been dying for years, quite literally, trying to prove that he is worthy of being in the X-Men. In the 5th issue of Spider-Man 2099 Exodus, we were introduced to the X-Men of 2099, and what do you know? Warda is a member of that X-Men. Her amazing assassin skills, along with a sarcastic humor, definitely was an excellent addition to the team. Warda initially did not have a good relationship with Deadpool at all. In fact, when her mother, Shikla, disappeared with no trace, Warda assumed the worst in her father and kidnapped him. She demanded to know where her mother was, and when Deadpool failed to give her any answers, she tortured him for decades by playing C-SPAN on repeat and forcing Wade to watch it. Wade was later rescued by Ellie Preston, his other daughter. However, Warda killed Ellie, and that led to Deadpool coming clean about why Shikla had to be sealed away. Warda's violent urges were very hard to keep on track, and in order to help her, Wade uploaded Emily Preston's consciousness into Warda's mind. This was somewhat helpful and eventually allowed Warda to adjust to her new family. Renesmee, later known as Princess. Deadpool has some pretty weird children, but nothing takes the cake as Renesmee does. Who is Renesmee, you ask? I'm glad you asked. The evil geneticist, the Harrower, decided to use Deadpool's body as an incubator. She kidnapped Deadpool and put her own version of Carnage into Wade. The main source of this little carnage is Wade's internal organs. As one can imagine, having someone chomp down on your internal organs is not a pleasant experience. Albeit we know that Wade can regrow the organs, but it's just not a fun experience. This all happened when Deadpool was trying to join this incredible group of mercenaries called Atelier. Wade was given a mission to kill Dr. Octopus. Yes, the Spider-Man villain, and Wade failed to do that in the limited time frame. While during the fights, having Carnage Jr. in him helped him out in ways that can be cool or grotesque, depending on how you look at it, the failure of the mission did mean that Wade will not be able to join the Atelier. However, the contact point of Atelier, Valentine Vong, has the hots for Deadpool, and what do you know? Deadpool feels the same. With the help of Valentine, the Carnage Jr. is given a dose of sedative that allows the symbiote to remain docile. But that does not stop the symbiote from being the biggest cheerleader of the couple when they go out on a date at the zoo. Even though at first we hear the reasoning of going to the zoo to see how the sedated symbiote would react to stimuli, when Valentine finally comes clean, we get to see the symbiote urging his papa to kiss Valentine. And by the end of the zoo day, there's definitely a good rapport between Carnage Jr. and Wade, and that is when Carnage Jr. gets the name Renesmee. Any Twilight fan would know who Renesmee is referring to. But if you don't know who that is, this is the name of the half-human, half-vampire child of Edward and Bella. This pregnancy almost became the cause of Bella's death, and Wade felt it was apt to name the monster inside of him Renesmee. By the 5th issue, the symbiote has matured and gets out of Wade, painfully using his abs as its birthing site. At first, the symbiote who is reborn is Cletus Cassidy, the original Carnage. Based on how gleeful Harrower is when Cletus emerges from Wade's ribs, it is fair to assume that rebirthing Cletus was the main reason why Harrower had gone through all of this trouble in the first place. But then as Cassidy tries to get out of Wade's chest, he finds himself unable to move, only to be engulfed by a bigger symbiote. This symbiote looks like a giant dog, and while Wade is wondering if there is another symbiote about to come outside of him, the canine symbiote turns to Wade and calls him Papa. That is when we, along with Wade, realize that the canine symbiote is actually Renesmee, who has matured quite a bit. Owing to the maturation, we can clearly see how vicious this canine symbiote is. While being extremely vicious and scary, this symbiote takes after Wade by being very playful and cute as well. This is why when Wade finally has a moment where he is not fighting the Harrower, he decides to rename Renesmee into Princess. This sidekick suits Wade very much, and we're hopeful that this sidekick will stay by his side in future issues of Deadpool. Squirrelpool. One of the most significant controversies when it comes to Deadpool is his design in X-Men Origins Wolverine. In this comic, we get to see Deadpool with retractable blades and his mouth completely removed. Obviously, that took the Deadpoolness out of Deadpool, so a lot of fans did not find this version interesting at all. So when in Deadpool Too Soon, we get to see Squirrelpool, Deadpool's daughter with the same 2 blades. It is a welcome surprise. Squirrelpool is the daughter of Squirrel Girl and Deadpool. She was introduced in the comic where Deadpool, along with a mismatched bunch of Marvel characters, decided to solve the mystery behind the Forbush man's death. While trying to unravel the mystery, they come across Squirrelpool. While she is goofy and speaks in a silly way, she is not someone you can take lightly. Squirrelpool inherited her father's knowledge of weapons, as well as his ability to use them. She dual wields the retractable blades with such grace that the goofy weapons turn deadly in her hands. She's also very good at shooting people with her acorn gun, which we get to see when she forces Rocket and Groot to eat her acorns rather forcibly. From her mother, Squirrel Girl, Squirrelpool has inherited sharp claws and strong teeth. Her teeth are strong enough for her to gnaw through the arm of Groot in one go. Not only that, her claws allow her to climb super quickly. Slashing is also something she's very good at, and her claws come in handy when it comes to that. Overall, Squirrelpool is strong and deadly, and even Wade is impressed by her. Even though Wade has to send her away using a teleporter so that she does not hurt others, Wade cannot help but acknowledge her as his daughter. Junior. Life is hard on Deadpool, but you know who is harder on Deadpool? Deadpool himself. In Deadpool The End, a one-shot which is exclusively about all possible scenarios where Deadpool could die are explored, we get to meet Junior. Junior is the result of an evil pharmaceutical company who decided that the best person to match Wade's DNA with would be Logan himself. In the Marvel Universe, Wolverine and the Merc with a Mouth usually steer clear of each other's way unless they have to work together. Their powers are immense in their own field. We have Logan with his adamantium claws and healing factor filled to the brim with rage, and we have Deadpool, a very skilled one-man army with an even better healing factor and amazing quippy comebacks. When the two were mixed, we ended up with Junior. Junior was the deadliest killing machine to ever genocide, as we put aptly by Wade. Being bigger than both of his fathers, Junior had claws that were almost the size of Wade himself. Junior also puts up one hell of a fight because by the end of it, both of his fathers, who are very difficult to take down, are almost at death's door. We can clearly conclude that Junior's blows have proved their healing abilities futile. This bloodbath was only dreamt up by Deadpool, but had Junior existed, he would have to be one of the greatest supervillains in the Marvel Universe. Master Matrix. If co-parenting is something you're struggling with, the best example of healthy co-parenting is put forth by Wade. This time, the Merc with a Mouth adopted a kid with Spider-Man. While that sounds absurd, the 31st issue of Spider-Man Deadpool explores that story arc very well. Master Matrix is an advanced life model decoy LMD. Being a robot, he has high durability, agility, and strength. With those, he decided to get rid of humanity. Destroying humanity would be very easy for him, but luckily for us, he had a change of heart. Having this said change of heart, he apologized to Spider-Man and asked to be adopted by Deadpool and him. Agreeing to the arrangement, Master Matrix ended up with two brilliant father figures. Not only that, but being a good son, he has helped both the heroes whenever they needed any help. For example, he helped his dad put a stop to the shenanigans of the Wrecking Crew. He even helped his father put the Manipulator in jail. With those, Master Matrix proved himself to be a very good son. In the latter stories, we find out that Master Matrix has found his true calling and has started working in Hollywood. Deathpool. We all know Thanos, yes, the purple titan who killed a lot of people. Well, guess what? Wade Wilson ends up in a love triangle with Death and Thanos. As we know, Thanos kills a lot of people, but why? Turns out it is because he wants to woo a girl. Well, not any girl, but Death herself. He kills in the name of Death. Like any other woman, Death finds that behavior very unattractive and instead finds comfort in Deadpool. The more Thanos tries to gain her attention, the less he gets it. This is what we get in the Marvel main continuity. But the 2018 game Marvel Strike Force puts a new layer in this dynamic. It is because in this game, we get to meet someone called Deathpool. Deathpool is the daughter of, you guessed it, Death herself and Deadpool. Just like in Cell Division, once divided, the mother cell ceases to exist. In the case of Deadpool, her mom, that is, Death herself, stopped existing after her birth. He got the essence of her mother and the sarcasm and quippy nature of her father. With the best of both worlds, she is beautifully dangerous. Her outfit makes it abundantly clear that she is Deadpool's daughter, as she has the same pattern as Deadpool and even an emblem of Deadpool on her belt. Her color scheme is that of her mother's, including her weapon of choice, which is a sight. Because Death stopped existing, Thanos got super mad and decided to use his Infinity Stone to get rid of Deadpool, not in one universe, but in all of them. So it is a race against the clock for Deathpool to chase this mad titan all over the universe and arrive on Nexus Earth. Deadpool. Deadpool can be annoying, and we know that, but who knew Deadpool would be irritating enough to spend a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent in space? Starting on the 38th issue of Deadpool, on that note, we follow Wade in space killing aliens, getting into silly arguments and getting into that alien action. One of the most memorable parts of that action is when Wade finally arrives in nowhere and gets attacked by the Brood. While fighting with the Brood, he gets stabbed in the chest, and due to his healing factor, he was not hurt that badly, and he continued fighting. Once the fight seemingly ended for a bit, out came a broodling from his stomach, looking very much like a xenomorph chestburster, but with Wade's attitude, we now have Deadpool. Deadpool remains attached to Wade's body, and when he spits acid in the face of Lady Sif, Deadpool decides to make it official, putting a little mask on Deadpool and arming him with 2 guns. The father-son duo goes on their adventure battling people, but this duo only lasts so long until Deadpool turns on Deadpool. He cuts the alien from his stomach. This is supposed to kill Deadpool, but it does not. We can assume that it is because the Brood, as the species tend to absorb whatever power the host has, so maybe Deadpool has absorbed Wade's healing ability. The last we see of Deadpool is when he's hiding from his father in nowhere. Alpha Achromic. When stuck in a very bad situation, namely being attacked by the Omega Clan, Deadpool decided to code a superhuman into existence. That superhuman was Alpha Achromic. The whole of X-Force was facing imminent anger, and Deadpool did not have much choice but to make a sun out of thin air with the help of the White Sky organization. You could be wondering why he chose to make a sun, and the answer is loyalty. While yes, turning the superhuman into a soldier would have solved the issue, but as we know, soldiers can change sides, so Deadpool decided to make a superhuman who is loyal to only him and Wolverine. To make Alpha Achromic loyal to Wolverine, Deadpool coded a memory of Wolverine, surprising the Alpha Achromic with a puppy. It must have been one hell of a puppy, because Alpha Achromic is willing to go through any hell to protect Deadpool and Wolverine. Ever since he came into sentience, Alpha Achromatic defended every member of the X-Force from the Omega Clan. Marvelous verdict. Wade may be a superhero who has no responsibilities, but he has definitely tried his best to be a good father to his kids. His children came in different shapes and sizes with various powers, but in each case, Wade has acknowledged them as his children, and that adds a new layer of softness to our favorite merc with a mouth. If you like the content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one, and be safe. Thanks, everyone.